Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel where we dig up the strangest machines ever built and ask the important historical question: who looked at a luxury railroad car and thought, yeah, but what if it followed my sedan across Florida at 70 miles per h-hour? Today we're talking about the incredible 1920s and 1930s Curtiss Aerocar travel trailer, a machine so advanced, so stylish, and so gloriously over-engineered that it looked like it escaped from a science fiction magazine printed between stock-market crashes. This thing wasn't just a camper. It was a rolling hotel suite for rich dreamers, businessmen, socialites, and probably at least one politician hiding from reporters. And before we continue, subscribe to the channel because somewhere out there my friend is still trying to attach a barbecue grill to his pickup with roofing nails and optimism. If you subscribe today, there's at least a small chance we can stop him before the fire department arrives again. The Curtiss Aerocar story officially began in the United States in 1928, but the roots stretched back nearly a decade earlier. The mastermind behind it was Hammond Curtiss, one of America's greatest aviation inventors, motorcycle racers, and engineering troublemakers. Curtiss was already famous for airplanes and speed records, but like many brilliant inventors, he apparently woke up one morning and decided normal camping was too primitive. Curtiss first experimented with something called the camp car, patented in 1921. It already included sleeping space, cabinets, cooking equipment, and a forward overhang for coupling to a car. Unfortunately, it was heavy and awkward on sandy roads. Florida roads at the time could humble even confident drivers. Timmy once got stuck backing a jet ski into soft sand and claimed the ground was mechanically defective, so imagine hauling an early luxury trailer through 1920s Florida. The real breakthrough happened because Curtiss was deeply involved in South Florida development projects around Hialeah, Miami Springs, and Opa-locka. He needed efficient transport vehicles for agriculture and business operations. One farm trailer used a horizontally mounted aircraft wheel as a shock-absorbing fifth-wheel coupling. That odd little engineering experiment became the ancestor of the Aerocar. In August 1928, an Aerocar completed a publicity run from Miami to New York in under 40 hours. That was huge news at the time. America still loved railroads, but suddenly this futuristic rolling apartment proved luxury road travel could compete with train travel. Orders started arriving, investors appeared, and the Aerocar Corporation was officially formed in September 1928. Technically, the Curtiss Aerocar was radically different from ordinary trailers of the era. First, it was a true fifth-wheel design long before fifth-wheel RVs became common. Curtiss developed the famous Aero Coupler, patented in 1928 and officially granted in 1933. Instead of a simple hitch hanging behind the car, the Aerocar connected over the rear axle using a horizontally mounted pneumatic wheel assembly. This system absorbed vertical, twisting, and side-to-side shocks using air cushioning. In simple terms, the trailer floated behind the tow car with remarkable smoothness. That mattered because roads during the late 1920s were brutal. Potholes back then weren't potholes, they were geological events. The Aero Coupler dramatically reduced sway and vibration, making passengers feel less like cargo in a cement mixer. Contemporary observers described the Aerocar as astonishingly stable even above 70 miles per hour, or around 113 kilometers per h, which was terrifyingly fast for the period. The trailer body itself also reflected Curtiss's aviation background. Lightweight materials, aircraft-style bracing, tubular frameworks, tension wires, and semi-monocoque construction methods helped reduce weight while maintaining rigidity. Some large Aerocar models measured approximately 23 feet long, with usable interior space around 19 feet or 6 meters. Interior width reached roughly 6 feet 1 inch, equal to 2 meters, while interior height was close to 6 feet or 2 meters. Depending on equipment, weight ranged between 3,000 and 3,800 pounds, roughly 1,360 to 1,724 kilograms. Unlike modern motorhomes, the Aerocar had no engine of its own. Performance depended entirely on the tow vehicle. Surviving combinations included Graham Blue Streak coupes and Chevrolet tow vehicles equipped with inline-six engines, 4-speed transmissions, hydraulic brakes, and large fuel tanks. Some Aerocars even featured vacuum-operated trailer brakes, an advanced feature for the era. Even the exterior looked aerodynamic. Curtiss designed a long, low-slung body with a pointed V-shaped front, curved roofline, and flowing proportions inspired by aircraft and luxury yachts. It looked less like a camping trailer and more like something a millionaire villain would use while planning to buy half of Florida. One surviving 1938 Aerocar included Pullman bunks, aircraft-style seats, folding tables, closets, a lavatory, and even instruments like an altimeter and compass in the observation section. That's right, people were checking altitude while parked beside a lake eating canned beans. The Aerocar also stood out because it was never limited to camping alone. Curtiss and his partners produced dozens of variations, including luxury land yachts, mobile showrooms, airport shuttles, school transport units, ambulances, horse trailers, and commercial delivery vehicles. Compared to ordinary travel trailers of the late 1920s and early 1930s, the Aerocar existed in another universe. Most camping trailers of the period were simple wooden boxes with basic sleeping quarters and minimal comfort. In many ways, it predicted the future of American RV culture decades early. Today, fifth-wheel RVs are everywhere across North America. But back then, the Aerocar looked like a machine from tomorrow accidentally arriving in 1928. Prices reflected that exclusivity. Exact factory pricing varied depending on body style and custom equipment, but luxury Aerocars could cost several $1,000s during the Depression era, equivalent to tens of thousands of dollars today. Optional extras included radios, refrigerators, cigar lighters, barometers, lavatories, and even air conditioning by 1937. Imagine explaining air-conditioned trailer travel to somebody in 1930, while half the country still struggled with unpaved roads and unreliable fuel stations. So if you ever see one at a museum or classic transport event, take a good look at it. You're not just looking at an old trailer, you're looking at one of the machines that helped define the modern fifth-wheel RV industry nearly a century ago. And unlike some modern luxury vehicles, this thing actually had style instead of looking like a refrigerator designed by accountants. Thanks again to the sponsors of this channel, our amazing subscribers and membership supporters. Without you, Timmy would probably try financing a broken 1930s trailer with casino coupons, and Bob would still be warning pigeons about artificial intelligence from his lawn chair. Stay safe. Enjoy the road, and may your future adventures include fewer breakdowns than Timmy's last camping trip, which technically ended when he locked himself inside his own trailer bathroom for 3 hours.